After 3 years of marriage, his wife Ling Xi built her career on his resources.
She went from a total bottom-tier actress to a literal award-winning superstar almost overnight. But the moment she hits peak fame, she hands him divorce papers. Talk about fake! Her excuse is that he is just a boring behind-the-scenes capitalist who cannot give her any passion or romance. He calmly signs the papers and walks away with absolutely nothing. She thought he would lose everything without her, but the very next day, he literally buys out her new agency. At the first high-level board meeting of this massive media group, he is sitting right in the CEO chair. And then he watches his ex-wife, the newly signed star actress, walk in with her manager to bow and greet him. The second she looks up and sees him in that chair, seeing the ex-husband she assumed was completely broke and ruined sitting in the power seat, her beautiful face must have looked absolutely hilarious.
Oh, it is absolute cinema. Her expression is a perfect blend of pure shock, terror, and complete disbelief.
She looks like a character in a silent movie experiencing a complete mental breakdown. That top-tier acting and facial control she was so incredibly proud of is completely destroyed in a split second. Her mouth hangs open and her beautiful eyes are wide with shock.
She is glaring so hard at Lu Zhou, trying to process this insane reality.
She stares so hard, it feels like she wants to burn holes straight through his face. Walking right in with her is Manager Wang, the legendary ace manager of this industry. Even the manager is stunned, but she is a seasoned pro compared to the actress. Within half a second, she forces a massive professional smile onto her face. Bowing down even lower, she introduces herself. "Hello, Mr. Lu, I am Ling Xi's manager, Wang Fen. Please take care of us," then nudges Ling Xi to greet the big boss. She secretly pinches Ling Xi's arm hard under the table, forcing the shocked actress back to reality. The girl visibly flinches, all the color completely draining from her face. Her lips tremble, but she cannot get a single word out as he leans back in his massive chair. His fingers casually tap the smooth wooden desk in a steady, slow rhythm. That dull, rhythmic tapping is the only sound echoing through the completely dead silent and tense conference room. It hits her heart like a sledgehammer. Finally, our main character decides to open his mouth. His cold gaze completely ignores the manager, locking right onto her pale face. He tells the manager to skip the formalities, gesturing over to Ling Xi. He asks if this is the legendary new top actress that their group paid a massive fortune to sign. His tone is completely flat and emotionless, exactly like he is evaluating a basic piece of merchandise. The manager quickly nods and bows, agreeing that Ling Xi indeed has massive potential for the company. But he raises a hand to cut her off, his eyes still locked onto his trembling ex-wife. "I did not ask you," he says, freezing the manager in her tracks. She shuts up awkwardly. The rest of the executives in the room, all the other corporate executives are looking down, desperately trying to blend into the background. But you already know their ears are perked up, absolutely burning to hear all of this incredible drama. With every single eye in the room focused right on her, the ex-wife finally finds her voice. Trembling with a mix of fear and sheer frustration, she stammers out, "Mr. Lu, it is me." He slowly leans his body forward, giving her an incredibly intense stare with absolute final boss energy. "Ah, Miss Ling Xi, is it?" he says calmly. "I definitely remember you." After all, someone who burns their bridges as insanely fast as you did is pretty hard to forget. He literally says the words "burning bridges" extremely slowly and clearly, making absolutely sure she hears every single painful syllable. Her face turns completely red in an instant, showing a wild mix of humiliation, anger, and absolute panic. She was acting say high and mighty in front of him just yesterday, but now she is totally cooked. This ex-wife of his used to look down on him, saying they were from different worlds. But today, she has to stand right here like a low-level employee awaiting his judgment. She takes a deep breath, trying to act professional, and stammers, "President Lu, there must be a misunderstanding." Watch her force herself to stay calm, desperately trying to save some face in front of everyone. Honestly, she probably thought he would still care about their 3 years of marriage. She assumed he wouldn't embarrass her in public, but she was dead wrong. Lu just lets out a quiet, mocking laugh that chills the entire room. He speaks up, making sure everyone in the meeting room hears him. A misunderstanding, Miss Ling Xi?
Do you mean the misunderstanding where you divorced me yesterday and signed with my company today?
Or maybe how you used the path I paved and the money I made?
To buy luxury cars and villas for that new boyfriend you wanted so badly?
This is wild. This absolute bomb of a reveal completely shatters the silence of the room.
Every single executive gasps, and their eyes instantly lock onto Ling Xi.
The gossip in their eyes turns into pure, unfiltered disgust. Ling Xi sways violently, almost collapsing on the spot from the sheer shock. Her biggest secret, the card she thought she could hide from him forever. He just casually exposes her, and she can only stare back in absolute horror. True terror fills her eyes for the first time as the brutal reality sets in. The husband she used to look down on is actually the massive shadow boss of her new agency. He is definitely not the weak guy she thought she could easily manipulate.
She stammers out a weak excuse, but Lu just casually picks up a file from the table.
He flips through it and asks, "Your new guy is named Shen Lang, right?" The supposed rising star of venture capital and founder of Shen Lang Capital. Just a month ago, behind his back.
You took $20 million from your joint account to buy him a Rolls-Royce Phantom in cash.
And 2 weeks ago, you used Lu's name as a guarantor to secure a $30 million loan for a luxury villa on Mount Yunding. Naturally, the deed is in his name, and with every single word Lu speaks. Ling Xi's face loses more and more color until she is completely pale. Finally, Lu slams the folder onto the table and sits straight up, radiating final boss energy. His eyes are like daggers. Ling Xi, do you need me to pull up the transfer history? Or maybe project the car contract and the deed right onto the big screen? Should we let everyone here enjoy it? The entire room holds its collective breath. Ling Xi stands there like an empty shell, completely drained of life. She is trembling. She never in a million years saw this payback coming. Not only did he know everything, he has absolute, concrete proof of her betrayal. 3 years of marriage, he literally thought he was melting a cold stone. Only to realize she was just a block of poisoned ice all along. The love he believed in was just a carefully crafted scam. But every lie has an expiration date, and today is just day one of his revenge. Lu looks at her broken state with absolutely zero pity in his heart. Only cold indifference remains as his voice drops back to normal. "Now let's talk business," he commands, with absolute authority that nobody can challenge. Picking up another HR transfer document, he turns directly to the director. "Effective immediately, we are establishing the Office of the Special Assistant to the President." He tells her that since she knows his personal preferences so well, and his daily habits, she is officially getting the position of Chief Secretary. She is going to be responsible for planning his entire daily schedule from here on out.
That means arranging meetings, serving tea, and even cleaning up his office.
As for her monthly salary, just 3,000 yuan. Any questions? Ling Xi snaps her head up, her eyes burning with pure humiliation and anger. Going from a famous award-winning actress to a secretary making only 3,000 a month? Having to pour tea for others is honestly way worse than dying to her. "You cannot treat me like this, Lu Zhouran," she screams, losing her mind. He just stares back coldly. First, call him President Lu. Second, she actually signed the absolute highest S-rank contract with the company. 500 million. That is the penalty. She is free to quit. Just pay the 500 million at the finance office first, then get lost for good. Ling Xi is completely stunned by that insane astronomical figure of 500 million. She knew the penalty was high, but there was no way she expected it to be this crazy. This is a golden cage he specially designed for her, and she is only realizing it now. From the very second she chose to betray him, she had already lost absolutely everything, leaving her totally ruined. Seeing the sheer despair written all over her face gives him a massive wave of satisfaction. Not willing? He raises an eyebrow and grabs his phone, pretending to dial a number. No worries, he will just have the legal department come over and handle her. And while they are at it, they should probably chat with the tax bureau and the bank about that missing 50 million. Hearing about that unexplained money, Ling Xi's entire body instantly goes weak and she collapses. Her last bit of fight is completely crushed. She knows that if those departments actually get involved, she is done for. A literal bottomless abyss is waiting for her. Clenching her jaw in absolute defeat, she squeezes out each word through her teeth, finally saying she accepts. He nods with total satisfaction, then turns to look at her completely stunned manager, Sister Wang. He tells her she should know what this means, effective immediately. Every single one of Lin Xi's acting gigs is officially suspended indefinitely. Sister Wang flinches. Her face goes completely pale, but she can only nod like a maniac, saying she understands. She promises to follow his exact orders. He does not even bother looking at them anymore. He turns back to the other executives as if nothing had happened. That drama was just a minor distraction. Chen Sheng steps up to make the announcement. Since the outsiders have been cleared out, they can finally resume their important meeting. As the heavy conference room doors slam shut behind him, they completely block out Lin Xi's incredibly resentful and devastated glare. Talk about immediate payback. She honestly thought getting a divorce would set her free. Little did she know she only escaped one gorgeous cage called marriage to land somewhere much worse. She is falling straight into a brand new hell called the corporate world, and he is the absolute ruler of it. The CEO's private office is a massive 200 square meters of pure minimalist luxury. Right now, the former movie queen, Lin Xi, is wearing an incredibly expensive designer Chanel outfit, but she is currently on her knees holding a wet rag. She is slowly wiping down the dark obsidian floor until it reflects like a mirror. This is literally her very first assignment as his newly appointed chief secretary. Meanwhile, he sits incredibly comfortably behind his desk, slowly sipping on some premium, high-grade tea. Watching this extreme contrast is honestly so satisfying for him, and honestly, the sheer drama is top tier. Lin Xi's movements are incredibly clumsy, making it super obvious she has never done hard labor. Lin Xi rolls up his ridiculously expensive suit, but it still gets in his way. Those gorgeous piano-playing hands of his are now completely covered in dust and grime. Thick beads of sweat drip right off his forehead, splashing onto the floor. He has to swallow his pride and wipe it away with a rag. Lu Zhouran knows he is barely holding back. The sheer hatred in his eyes is wild. He wants to shred Lu Zhouran right there. Lu Zhouran sets down his teacup, his voice quiet but sharp as he calls out. The tea is cold, and just like that, Lin Xi freezes mid-motion. He silently gets up and heads to the pantry, every step radiating pure, suppressed rage. He is so furious that the hot water splashes, scalding his hand and making him hiss. Carrying the boiling cup back, he slams it down right on Lu Zhouran's desk. His hands are literally shaking from holding back so much anger. Instead of reaching for it, Lu Zhouran just stares at him with a smug, teasing look. It seems your onboarding was pretty weak, Secretary Lin. Serving tea means using both hands. You need to bow 45 degrees, smile, and say, President Lu, please enjoy your tea. Now let me see that smile. Lin Xi's face turns bright red instantly, feeling like he just got slapped right across the face. Smile at this guy? To Lin Xi, that sounds absolutely insane. Lu Zhouran, don't push your luck, he finally snarls, trying to keep his voice down. Lu Zhouran just raises an eyebrow, his expression turning icy cold in a second. I guess that $500 million contract penalty still has not taught you any respect. Or would you rather discuss this with my legal team? And with that, Lin Xi freezes again. All his fiery rage is instantly extinguished, like a bucket of ice water dumped right over his head. He bites down on his lips so hard it almost starts bleeding. After a long, painful silence, he slowly and with absolute reluctance squeezes out a smile that looks worse than crying, completely stiff and painfully forced. It is pure humiliation, but he still forces himself to pick up the teacup. He holds it out with both hands, his body bending forward like a literal robot. In a barely audible whisper, he mutters, President Lu, please enjoy your tea. Lu Zhouran takes the cup, finally looking satisfied. Now that is more like it. But after taking one tiny sip, he frowns and complains that it is way too hot. Go make it again, and at this point, Lin Xi is literally shaking with rage. He looks like he is about to blow a fuse, but he swallows his pride. Silently, he turns back to the pantry to redo the entire process. This time, he actually plays it smart, checking the temperature on his hand first. Once it is perfect, he brings it back, assuming that same humiliating posture again. Forced smile and all, and only then does Lu Zhouran slowly accept the cup. Acting like absolutely nothing happened, he just goes right back to reviewing his documents. Meanwhile, Ling Xi has no choice but to get back down and finish scrubbing the floor. The office falls dead silent, except for the sound of paper rustling. And a wet rag scraping against the floor? This psychological warfare is real, guys. But Lu Zhouran is not done. He wants to break everything Ling Xi holds dear and show him how easily his pride can be crushed. 1 hour later, a knock sounds. The door opens and Lu Zhouran's personal assistant, Chen Shu, walks inside. He hands over a file, stating that all the requested materials are completely ready. Lu Zhouran tosses the folder right in front of Ling Xi, telling him to study it. There is a big negotiation with Xinghui Entertainment at 3 p.m., and he is coming along. Xinghui Entertainment is another industry giant and a major player. Basically, they are the biggest partner of Shen Lang's company in the entertainment business. Ling Xi picks up the file and stares at the cover. Her eyes shrink in shock at the title, The Termination Plan for Xinghui Entertainment. Flipping through the pages quickly, her face grows paler with every single line she reads. This is a savage trap. Lu's group actually holds dirt on Xinghui's talent. We are talking tax evasion and messy private lives for over half of their top stars. Every piece of evidence is career-ending, and the goal of this plan is brutal. He is using these secrets to force Xinghui to completely cut ties with Shen Lang. Instead, they will be forced to bind entirely to Lu's own massive empire. Ling Xi turns absolutely ghost white because she knows the stakes here. Xinghui Entertainment is the literal backbone of Shen Lang's entire business empire. If they switch sides, Shen Lang is cooked. His company will take a devastating blow. She snaps her head up, staring at Lu Zhouran in pure disbelief. Asking him if he is targeting Shen Lang, Lu Zhouran corrects her immediately. He tells her this is not personal, it is just business. And second, she needs to call him President Lu now, leaving her completely speechless. Ling Xi stammers, her mind completely blown by this entire situation. How could he possibly have this much dirt on Xinghui? He just stares back. Mocking her with a smirk, he looks at her like a clueless child. Did she really think he spent 3 years just playing housewife and cooking soup? Everything she saw back then was just a mask he chose to show her. The reality is, the golden boy Shen Lang she worships so much, Shen Lang is nothing but a slightly bigger ant in Lu Zhouran's eyes. Crushing him will be as easy as stepping on a bug, trust me. These words completely shatter whatever confidence Ling Xi had left. She genuinely thought leaving him was an upgrade to a bigger and better world. Now she finally realizes how horribly wrong she was. 0 level up here. She jumped straight off a massive cliff. Landing right at the bottom of the ocean, her proud actress title is useless. That perfect new relationship she bragged about is nothing before her ex-husband's empire. It is paper thin and easily shredded, leaving her to mutter that it is impossible. Desperately, she whispers that her new man is strong and will not lose. Lu Zhouran just laughs it off and picks up the office phone. He orders his team to prepare Plan A immediately. Then, he schedules an exclusive interview with the top financial news outlet. The topic will be exposing the fake hype of certain rising capital startups. Let's show everyone how easily their little bubble pops. Ling Xi physically collapses onto the floor, trembling all over. She knows the ex-husband is playing for keeps now, and she is helpless. This is low-key heartbreaking. The woman who once thought she had it all. Now she can only watch her world crumble, completely powerless. Even worse, as his secretary, she has to hand him the weapon. She is handing over the exact blade that will destroy her new lover. By 3 p.m., Lu Zhouran and Ling Xi arrive at Xinghui headquarters. First up, we meet Xinghui's big boss, President Li, a greasy, out-of-shape middle-aged guy. The second he spots our main character, he runs over with a fake, overly eager smile plastered on his face. Flattering him immediately, Li gasps about what a rare honor it is to have President Lu visit in person. He claims it makes their whole office shine, while Lu Zhouran just gives a calm, knowing smile.
He shakes the ma'am's hand, casually telling President Lee that he is being way too polite.
But as Lu scans the conference room, he spots the other guy right where he expected him to be. This guy is rocking a tailored Armani suit, with his hair slicked back perfectly. He even has a Patek Philippe watch practically glowing on his wrist. Seriously, he looks like the ultimate handsome, successful businessman. No wonder Ling Xi was so obsessed with him. But then he notices Ling Xi standing right behind our guy. Shen Lang looks totally stunned for a second, before quickly masking it with his signature, confident, gentle look. At this point, the villain has absolutely no idea what is actually going on. He probably thinks Ling Xi is here as the ex-wife to convince the main character to help him. Honestly, it is actually hilarious how delusional this guy is. Shen Lang stands up, casually reaching out to grab Ling Xi's hand. He asks why she is here and if he did not tell her to rest up at home. But Ling Xi flinches hard, instantly dodging his touch like he is poison. She looks incredibly pale, keeping her head down, too terrified to even look him in the eye. Shen Lang's brow furrows for a split second, but he quickly smooths over his annoyance. He turns his attention to our main character, keeping that fake, gentle smile plastered on. Though there is a subtle, arrogant edge to his voice as he says he has heard all about President Liu. He introduces himself as Shen Lang from Tianlong Capital, but Lu Zhouran cuts him off, saying he already knows him. Our guy pulls out a chair, sits down, and delivers a cold, calm response. He says there is no way he would forget the genius who convinced his wife to invest 50 million of her own money. After all, there is not another young talent in the entire business circle who could pull off a stunt like that. Lu puts heavy emphasis on the word wife, making Shen Lang's smug smile instantly freeze. President Lee immediately tries to clear the awkward tension, laughing that President Lu sure loves to joke around. He begs them both to sit down, adding how honored he is to have two massive bosses here to discuss a partnership. But our main character just scoffs. Partnership? He tosses a contract termination agreement right into the middle of the table. He looks at Lin Vo and tells him he has it all wrong. He did not come here to build a partnership today. He came to end it. Hearing this, both President Lee and Shen Lang instantly lose all the color in their faces. President Lee flips through just 2 pages before cold sweat starts dripping down his forehead. Shen Lang leans over to look, and his expression turns absolutely venomous as he growls Lu Zhouran's name. Finally tearing off his polite mask, he demands to know what the hell the main character is trying to do. His voice is freezing cold as he accuses Lu of using incredibly cheap, underhanded tricks. He asks if Lu does not feel embarrassed threatening his business partners like a common thug. Underhanded? Our guy just leans back in his chair, completely unbothered, enjoying the show. He replies that compared to someone who literally mooched off women to climb the ladder, he is far behind. He adds that at least every single cent he spends is money he earned himself, shifting his gaze to Ling Xi. Ling Xi buries her head even deeper, her shoulders trembling from pure shame. She wishes she could just vanish on the spot, while Shen Lang's face turns a mixture of pale and angry. Completely speechless and cornered, the villain has to take a massive breath to compose himself. Forcing down his burning rage, he turns to President Lee and tells him there is no need to fear Lu. He reminds Lee that Tianlong Capital and Xinghui are locked into a legally binding, long-term strategic partnership. That is straight-up blackmail. They should honestly sue him. Sweat is literally pouring down President Lee's face. He knows if that dirt gets out, it is over. Even if they somehow win in court, the company is completely ruined. The old fox knows exactly what is at stake here. He turns to Shen. Maybe they should take a step back and reconsider this. Lee is stuttering and wiping away sweat while Shen Lang starts panicking. Seeing his ally waver, Shen Lang completely loses his cool. He whips around to Ling Xi, desperate to play the emotional card. He begs her to speak up and tell Lu Zhouran they love each other. He tells her to stop his petty revenge. This is his absolute last hope. If she claims Lu Zhouran is just a bitter ex taking revenge, Shen Lang wins. That would completely flip the script in front of everyone. Our main character would lose his edge. Now all eyes are on Ling Xi. Her next move decides everything. Talk about high-stakes drama. Ling Xi is shaking like a leaf. On one side is her new lover. The man promising her a future versus the one who holds her life.
Her insanely powerful ex-husband who controls her entire life. She slowly looks up. Her lips tremble. She is about to speak.
Shen Lang looks hopeful, but Lu Zhouran just casually sips his tea. He gently blows on it, completely unbothered. He is literally him.
See, he already knows her choice. He had his assistant leak a little secret.
That shiny new Rolls-Royce she bought for her boyfriend? It has a catch. If Lu Zhouran withdraws his guarantee within 6 months, Shen Lang has to pay off the entire car immediately. If he cannot, the car gets repossessed. Same goes for their villa. Lu Zhouran secured that loan. With one phone call, he can cancel it. How is Shen Lang gonna pay back millions? He simply cannot. Right on cue, Ling Xi takes a deep breath and stands up.
But she does not go to Shen Lang. She stands behind Lu Zhouran.
Acting like a perfect secretary, she pours him more tea. Talk about cold. Then she turns to a completely stunned Shen Lang, cold as ice.
She tells him with zero emotion to watch his words.
She is the secretary, and his business decisions are strictly business.
Personal feelings have nothing to do with this. Stop spreading rumors. Ruining the group's reputation is a huge mistake. They will sue him. This is an absolute slap in the face. Shen Lang is completely speechless. He did not see that coming at all.
He stares at her in disbelief, calling out her name like a stranger.
What is she even saying? Has she gone completely crazy?
He divorced her and is actively humiliating her.
Her hands shake slightly, but she refuses to look at him.
She stares at the tea inside her cup, keeping her head low.
She calmly tells him to address her as Secretary Lin.
She is satisfied with her job and wants him to stop harassing her. She places the tea down, steps back, and remains completely quiet. Brutal.
The prey completely submits to the hunter. Shen Lang's face twists from pure shock to absolute rage. Before his face goes completely pale, it finally clicks. Ling Xi just betrayed him. Just like he betrayed Lu Zhouran back then, zero hesitation.
Clean and brutal. Honestly, Shen Lang is shaking with absolute rage right now.
He points at Ling Xi, spitting out his words. Fine, Ling Xi, you are ruthless. Then he turns to Lu Zhouran and roars, "You are ruthless too!"
Just you two wait, he snarls, throwing down one last weak threat. He slams the door and storms out, leaving only Lu Zhouran and Mr. Li behind.
Along with Secretary Lin standing behind him, terrified, Mr. Li lets out a massive sigh of relief. Like he just escaped a nightmare, quickly turning to Lu Zhouran with a fake, flattering smile. But our main character completely ignores him, turning his gaze straight to Ling Xi. He calmly asks, "Nice performance just now. Looks like you are finally getting the hang of this job." Ling Xi freezes up, whispering a quiet thank you for the compliment. But then the vibe shifts completely, and honestly, I did not see this coming. He coldly adds, "I do not like people playing games behind my back," making her heart instantly drop. Sliding his phone right in front of her, he shows the active recording. Pressing play, the silent room suddenly fills with noise. Their secret conversation starts playing for everyone to hear. Ling Xi says on tape, "I am kinda scared of Lu Zhouran." "He seems to know everything," Shen Lang replies. "What are you afraid of, Xi? Did you forget our plan?" The more furious he gets, and the more he targets me, the deeper he falls into our trap. Just hand him this evidence at the critical moment exactly like we agreed. Not only will his reputation be completely ruined, but his entire business empire will be ours to swallow, Ling Xi mumbles, but I still feel so uneasy. Shen Lang laughs it off. Trust me, he is just a clueless landlord hiding behind the scenes. How could he ever compete with a capital market genius like me? Once we take him down, his multi-billion-dollar empire is all ours. You will be the queen of high society. Then, the recording finally cuts off. Pure dead silence fills the room. Mr. Li is literally drenched in cold sweat. His eyes are wide with absolute terror, realizing these two were doing way more than just cheating. They were plotting to completely steal his company, which is actually crazy, but watch how he handles this. Her face goes beyond pale. She looks like a literal ghost right now.
She stares at Lu Zhouran, looking at him as if he were a devil from hell. She cannot understand.
How on earth a highly private conversation inside their personal car got completely wiretapped by Lu Zhouran? Looking at her terrified face, Lu Zhouran finally cracks his first real smile, a cold, bone-chilling smirk.
He asks with a playful shrug, "Secretary Lin, need me to explain this?"
Standing up, he walks over and looks down at her with final boss energy.
That Rolls-Royce he bought for Shen Lang, the entire system, even the audio,
and the GPS were all personally customized on his orders.
Why would he gift a luxury car without leaving a few back doors open?
Makes perfect sense, right? Ling Xi actually thought.
She was playing chess by choosing sides, acting like some tragic mastermind. He is biding his time, just waiting for that perfect moment to strike back.
He thinks he is the hunter, playing along with our absolute beast of a main character. But the poor guy has no idea that from the very start, he was just a butterfly caught in the web, and every single struggle, every wing flutter was completely calculated from day one. That supposed trump card of his, the evidence he and Shen Lang built to take down the boss, honestly, we cannot wait to see it. The look on his face when he hand-delivers that useless proof is going to be priceless.
Back at the office, Ling Xi looks like his soul was completely sucked out of him.
The guy is totally out of it and cannot even look the boss in the eye. He is barely breathing. All that hate and resentment he had earlier, completely gone, replaced by pure terror. Now his brain is probably going into overdrive. He is frantically trying to figure out where their perfect little plan fell apart.
Why did it look like an open comic book to the main character?
Absolutely hilarious. The boss just ignores him and goes back to work, leaving him to stew in his own panic because fear is the ultimate catalyst.
He needs to suffer in this anxiety until his entire confidence completely crumbles.
He needs to realize that between him and our main character, there is an uncrossable chasm. Around 5 in the afternoon, near closing time,
the boss gets an internal call from his assistant, Chen Zhu.
Chen Zhu sounds panicked. "President Lu, Shen Lang is downstairs demanding to see you." Security blocked him, but our boss calmly tells him to just send the guy up. Chen Zhu warns that he is extremely agitated, but Lu Zhouran is unfazed. Let him up. Oh, and make sure to record a video of him trying to force his way in. Get it from multiple angles. Hanging up, the boss looks over at the corner. Ling Xi is trembling like a startled bird. The boss chin gestures toward him. "Go make 2 cups of coffee, one for me, one for your dear Lang." Ling Xi flinches violently, looking up with eyes full of desperate pleading. He absolutely does not want to face Shen Lang, especially now that their plot has been completely exposed. The boss taps the table. His cold tone brooks no argument. "What, are you unwilling? Do I need to remind you of your duties as a secretary?" Ling Xi bites his lip. Humiliated, he slowly walks to the pantry. A few minutes later, the office door is slammed open as Shen Lang charges in like an enraged bull. His suit is incredibly wrinkled and messy. His hair is a disaster, looking nothing like the promising young talent he supposedly is. With bloodshot eyes, he roars, "Lu Zhouran, what did you do to Shishi? You despicable coward, only capable of using these dirty, underhanded tricks." Our boss sits behind his desk, completely unfazed, calmly taking a slow sip of tea. He speaks slowly. President Shen barging into a private office?
And making such a scene, where are your manners?
Oh, right, I forgot. A gold digger who uses women to climb? Probably has no use for manners anyway. Shen Lang is shaking with absolute rage. He points at the boss. "Stop putting on an act and give Shishi back to me." Our boss laughs like it is the funniest joke in the world. Give him back? Lu Zhouran asks if he's got it twisted. Ling Xi is his employee.
She's just doing her job, so why should he hand his worker over?
To some random outsider? With that, he gestures toward the break room. Shen Lang looks over and spots Ling Xi walking out with some coffee. Seeing her there immediately triggers Shen Lang even more. He lunges forward to grab her hand, making Ling Xi shriek in terror. She instinctively recoils, and the coffee tray in her hand tilts. 2 cups of scalding hot coffee with absolute perfect aim.
splashed directly onto Shen Lang's expensive Armani suit, making him scream.
He frantically jumps back, but his luxury designer suit
is already stained dark brown, completely ruined and messy.
Ling Xi panics and apologizes, but her eyes are full of pure dread. She stammers out apologies, saying she didn't mean to do it.
Shen Lang glares at her, then looks at Lu Zhouran, who's chilling. Realizing he's been played, a bitter smile creeps onto his face.
He spits out that Lu Zhouran won, and as for Ling Xi, she's just as bad, doing absolutely anything for a quick buck. Ling Xi's face goes completely pale as her lips tremble. She can't even speak. At this point, Shen Lang is utterly done. He stops looking at her and turns his full attention to our MC. With eyes full of pure rage, he snarls Lu Zhouran's name.
He tells him not to get cocky, asking if he really thinks he won.
Then he pulls a black USB drive from his jacket, telling him he's cooked. He slams it onto the desk, demanding that Lu Zhouran open it. He claims it holds all the evidence of tax evasion, insider trading, and political corruption over the years. He boasts that he's made multiple copies, and with one word, our MC will be ruined and locked up for life. He finally drops his supposed trump card, but Lu Zhouran just glances at it. A subtle smirk flashes in our guy's eyes, while Ling Xi's eyes widen. Her face becomes a wild mix of absolute terror and twisted anticipation. Honestly, she knows. This is their absolute last chance to flip the script. If Lu Zhouran gets taken down, she can finally escape this hell. She stares intensely at him, desperately searching his face
For any sign of panic. But nope, she's completely disappointed.
Our main character doesn't even touch the USB, just leaning back and watching this clown lose his mind before calmly asking if he's really sure that little drive can take him down. Shen Lang completely loses it, screaming about how much effort they spent. Just to get this intel, he screams that our MC is finished. He demands Lu Zhouran kneel, return Ling Xi, and transfer half his company.
Only then might he let him off. At this point,
he's already dreaming of Lu Zhouran begging, showing a sick smirk. But our guy just shakes his head, letting out a quiet sigh. Our MC just smiles and calls them foolish, utterly brainless. He picks up the phone and dials his assistant Chen Zhu, telling him to get lawyer Zhang. Tell him to bring security up right now because they have a certain Mr. Shen here.
he is getting reported for commercial blackmail, which completely freezes the smug smile on Shen Lang's face.
The MC just asks why on earth he wouldn't dare call the cops. Trying to extort half of a multi-billion-dollar company with a flash drive of fake evidence? Who gave Shen Lang that kind of confidence? He instantly screeches like a cat getting its tail stepped on. He screams that the evidence cannot be fake, insisting it is absolutely real. He blabbers that Ling Xi stole it directly from the MC's study safe with her own hands.
In his panic, he completely sells out Ling Xi, and she starts trembling in absolute terror.
Her face turns pale as paper, and the MC finally shifts his cold gaze over to her. His eyes are filled with pure disappointment and pity as he calls out her name, Ling Xi. He asks if she still does not get it. Then he plugs the flash drive in. A folder instantly pops up on the screen right in front of both of them. Folder name? Gift for the Ungrateful White-Eyed Wolf. The author is cooking here. Both of their hearts skip a beat as the MC clicks it open. And guess what? It is not financial records or secret company transactions. It is actually a bunch of videos, and the main star of all of them is Shen Lang. There are clips of him at fancy parties bragging about how he was just using Ling Xi. He boasted about using her to get to the MC and eventually taking over his entire empire. There were even secret recordings of him cheating on her with various actresses. The files show him messing around with influencers at hotels and even secret talks with his business partner. They were actively plotting how to push Ling Xi out of the picture entirely. They planned to steal the MC's assets and then kick her to the curb like trash. Every single video and audio clip cuts straight through the betrayers like a sharp knife. Shen Lang turns pale as a ghost, collapsing to the floor while pointing weakly at the MC. His voice is shaking uncontrollably as he stammers that the MC knew everything from the start. He realizes the whole thing was a trap, and the MC just laughs. Of course it was. Did they really think his private study safe would be that easy to crack? A movie queen cracking high-level security? No shot. The MC looks at the utterly devastated Ling Xi, whose face is now completely lifeless. He reveals that the safe combination was her birthday, and he practically let her find it.
He placed that flash drive in there himself, just to test her.
He wanted to see if their 3 years of marriage actually meant anything to her.
He wanted to know what his love was actually worth. Just sad.
He was the one who pulled her out of obscurity and made her a superstar. Was he more important, or was a sweet-talking scammer she met 3 months ago her priority?
Talk about final boss energy. Their trump card was actually their ruin.
While they thought they were playing chess, they were just walking straight into his trap.
They had no idea. They were just pawns on his board from day one.
Ling Xi stares at him, her eyes drowning in absolute despair and regret.
She finally feels a sense of deep remorse she did not even realize she had.
Deep down, she had always subconsciously relied on him more than she admitted. Maybe she never truly believed that Shen Lang could ever beat the MC in the first place. She was just too stubborn to accept being a mere shadow in his massive empire. She was just a flashy accessory, while Shen Wang was desperate to prove himself. But he ended up losing everything. Absolute defeat. Lin Xi shook her head. As tears finally broke through, she turned to Shen Wang, who was slumped on the floor. Clutching at him like her final lifeline, she cried out that this could not be real. She begged Shen Wang to tell her it was a lie, but he did not even look at her. Shen Wang knew he was completely finished under the absolute trap Lu Zhouran had built. No chance for a comeback. And guys, right at that perfect moment,
the office door swings wide open and Lawyer Zhang walks in with 2 people.
2 massive, muscular security guards follow closely behind as the lawyer respectfully greets President Lu. Lu Zhouran points at Shen Wang on the floor and the flash drive on his desk.
He calmly tells the lawyer that Mr. Shen brought this drive to blackmail him with some very interesting contents inside.
Lu Zhouran asks him to handle it, and the lawyer glances down at the trembling Shen Wang.
After checking the files in the flash drive, a highly professional, cold smirk creeps onto his face. President Lu, do not worry. This is clear extortion. We also have commercial defamation and a massive violation of trade secrets. A massive amount. The situation is extremely serious. He tells Shen Wang his prison sentence is guaranteed as the 2 guards step forward. They grab the completely broken Shen Wang and haul him up like a helpless little child. The villain finally snaps and starts desperately begging for mercy.
He screams that Lu Zhouran cannot do this to him, but honestly, this karma hits so good.
As Shen Wang begs for his freedom, Lu Zhouran simply waves his hand to get him out. Silence finally returns to the office, leaving only our cold main character and his desperately sobbing ex-wife in the room. She stares up at him with utter misery in her eyes. At this point, she is desperately trying to trigger some pity, finally calling him by his actual name. She begs Zhouran to forgive her and admits she made a huge mistake. She literally begs him to remarry her, promising she will never act like this again.
She promises to do whatever he wants, but honestly, it is way too late.
Lu Zhouran walks over and gently wipes the tears from her face with a soft touch.
But his eyes, freezing cold. He just stares at her.
He whispers that her biggest mistake was not betraying him, but overestimating her own value.
His voice is incredibly quiet as he asks if she really thought this was about her.
It hits her heart like a sledgehammer, and she instantly freezes in total shock. She stares back through her tears, completely unable to grasp what he means. With a freezing smirk, our main character finally drops the ultimate truth bomb. He reveals his grudge with Shen Wang actually goes back 10 full years when his father used dirty, underhanded tactics. They nearly destroyed the family business and drove Lu Zhouran's father to an early grave. Our main character spent all these years hiding his identity, slowly building up his massive corporate empire. He did all that just waiting for the perfect opportunity to completely destroy them. Man, this payoff is insane. And as for Ling Xi, she was just the absolute key piece in his entire game. She was simply the most convenient pawn, and he only built her up into a famous movie star for his plan. He wanted to throw her directly into Shen Wang's line of sight, making the villain believe she was the ultimate weapon to destroy him. Every single one of her betrayals and all of her clever little schemes.
They were all written into his script, including the romantic passion she thought she found with her lover.
It was all carefully orchestrated by Lu Zhouran through subtle hints and pure psychological manipulation.
He drops the coldest line ever. She was never the main character. She was just a pawn.
You are not even a supporting character. You have been nothing but a tool for my revenge this entire time.
Ling Xi completely freezes, and all the color drains from his face in an instant.
The last spark of light in his eyes completely dies out, filled with pure regret. It is a bone-deep despair, realizing the charm he was so proud of was totally worthless.
All his smug choices, the love he literally risked everything for, was all just a gear in someone else's revenge plan. His life was basically over. From the very moment he met Lu Zhou, his entire life was a lie. He lost everything. His dignity, his vows, his entire future. Ling Xi collapses onto the floor, completely ruined. Staring blankly, he looks like a broken doll, completely unraveling. Then he lets out this creepy, inhuman laugh cry that is honestly chilling. Just a tool. He is laughing, but his tears flow even faster as he looks up. With a gaze of pure madness and despair, he stares at Lu Zhouran. How cruel! You have a heart of stone! Lu Zhouran pulls his hand back. He pulls a clean white handkerchief from his pocket and begins to carefully wipe. Wiping the fingers that touched his cheek, his voice is dead cold. This is nothing compared to your cruelty. He tosses the handkerchief into the trash with a move that is cold and absolute. This completely destroys the last bit of naive hope left in Ling Xi's mind. So what do you plan to do with me now? He asks in a raspy voice. Like a death row prisoner awaiting sentencing, Lu Zhouran looks down at him coldly. His eyes are ice. You are useless to me now.
He picks up the office phone to dial the intercom, commanding his assistant without any emotion.
Chenzu, prepare PR and legal. 30 minutes. First, the official statement. Our signed artist, Ling Xi, has severely violated professional ethics and company policies due to his personal conduct. Effective immediately, we are terminating his contract and filing a major lawsuit. We are seeking 500 million yuan in breach damages and issuing a joint industry-wide ban. Blacklist him forever. Next, grab that blackmail video of Shen Lang. Send those juicy files from that USB drive directly to all our media partners. Keep it high definition. Hearing this, Ling Xi panics. His body starts trembling uncontrollably. Blacklisted forever? Sued for 500 million and his affair with Shen Lang exposed to the world? This is literally pouring hot asphalt right onto his already broken life. Then running it over with a steamroller? No lies, this payback is absolutely savage. No chance of a comeback. Desperate, he finally crawls up from the cold floor. Losing his mind, he lunges forward to grab Lu Zhouran's leg, screaming out in terror. You cannot do this! But he just kicks him away like trash. Please, for the sake of our past marriage, just leave me a way out. He lies on the ground in a pathetic heap, crying his eyes out. Marriage? Lu Zhouran sneers. When you went behind my back, spending my hard-earned money to pamper another man? Why didn't you think of our marriage?
Or when you and your lover plotted to steal my entire company?
Lu asks her why she never thought about their marriage when she tried to ruin him.
He tells Ling Xi that she chose this path herself after enjoying the thrill of betrayal.
Now she has to pay the price. As for a way out, he already gave her a chance, pointing at the floor she just mopped yesterday. Letting her work as a basic secretary, mopping floors for 3,000 yuan a month.
If she had just known her place, maybe he would have thrown her a bone later.
But she just couldn't accept it and had to push her luck. She kept testing his limits, pushing that ridiculous conspiracy with her lover, Shen Lang. Totally her own fault. She destroyed her own last lifeline, and Lu is completely done with her pathetic crying. Grabbing his suit jacket, he walks out to find Chen Zhu and lawyer Zhang waiting. Chen Zhu bows and confirms everything is set, and Lu simply nods back.
He leaves without looking back.
Ling Xi screams in total despair, utterly abandoned by the world. But that sound is instantly cut off by the heavy office doors. An hour later, heading home. Suddenly, news notifications start blowing up his phone with insane headlines.
The entire screen is covered with knees of the movie star cheating on her husband.
She teamed up with her lover, the finance founder Shen Lang, to frame Lu.
Now Shen Lang is arrested for extortion, and Lu Group has permanently blacklisted Ling Xi. They are suing her for 500 million yuan. This payoff is legendary. To make it worse, explicit videos of the two leak online, dropping like a bomb.
The internet literally explodes, and her social media accounts are flooded with hate.
Hundreds of thousands of angry comments pour in.
The exact same people who worshipped her are now dragging her to hell. Every single endorsement is canceled overnight and her movies are pulled.
Her face is literally being AI replaced in existing shows.
Her career, fame, reputation, completely gone.
Everything she built under the spotlight vanishes in just a few hours. And if you think that's crazy, wait until you see what happens to Shen Lang.
With the ironclad evidence Lu provided, Shen Lang's entire company is raided and seized.
All their assets are completely frozen as his whole crew gets locked up.
Time to pay his father's old debt.
Plus the massive damage Shen Lang caused, Lu made sure he paid it all back.
Every single penny, returned with interest. Finally, the car pulls up smoothly.
They arrive at Lu's massive suburban estate. Not that fake apartment he shared with Ling Xi for 3 miserable years. His butler opens the door, handing him a warm glass of lemon water. He welcomes him home with the utmost respect. The dust has finally settled. Lu takes a slow sip. The sweet and sour flavor hits just right under the starry night sky. Revenge is sweet. His mind is clear. As for Ling Xi's ultimate fate, Lu heard about it much later. Crushed by debt and public hatred, she had a complete mental breakdown. Locked in a psych ward, she's completely done. A tabloid reporter snaps a pic of the traitor looking completely homeless on the streets. His eyes are dead, scavenging for scraps. Honestly, it is crazy because his face used to have everyone obsessed.
But now it is bloated, filthy, and totally unrecognizable.
People on the street actually recognize him, pointing and whispering. Instead, he just clutches a ragged doll, giggling to himself and muttering that he is still a huge superstar. He keeps babbling that he is President Lu's favorite and will be saved. Meanwhile, our cold-hearted main character is busy vacationing with a gentle, wealthy young lady of equal standing.
They are relaxing on a private island in Europe with beautiful beaches.
The waves are peaceful, and he does not care as he just swipes past the article. Enjoying the view is his priority, because traders never get a happy ending. Mercy? What is that? If someone stabs him in the back, he will grab that knife, heat it red hot, and shove it right back. Making sure they never stand back up is how you run a satisfying revenge arc. Squinting into the sea breeze, he knows his old enemy is finally done. His real life is just getting started.